So as part of the consenting process, there are all sorts of elements to that, the cable runs, the substations, and all that kind of stuff. Drones can be used to support that, both in survey and inspection roles and in the more traditional photography, videography. So it may be that you think, well, do you know what? It's going to be far too difficult for us to build a relationship and get into actually working within the construction of a wind farm, but there's still lots of traditional opportunities there around videography and creating an audit trail. And obviously ROAVR's done some of that as well. Site setup, so both onshore and offshore. Mapping of yards where equipment is going to be held is very important, and creating heat maps to make sure that the space isn't wasted. Pre-start condition surveys, so that's something that drones have traditionally been used for linear cable routes and things like that onshore. Cable routes I touched on, mapping and condition surveys, component inspection. So you've got these huge pieces of equipment that are they are handled by multiple different tiers of contractors, from tier 1 to tier 3 contractors, and each contractor is looking to blame the next for any damage or issues with that. So you can use drones to create a audit trail of the components, and obviously installed turbine inspection. We won't spend any time on that at all. A few photos there. Right, use cases for drones offshore. So we looked at onshore, we'll look at offshore. So this photographic plate here shows 2 monopiles. These monopiles are hundreds of meters long. They weigh anywhere between 1,800 and 2,000 tons. And these particular ones have come from China, but sometimes they come from Singapore, sometimes they come from Spain, just depends on the supply contracts. In my experience, the bulk of them come from China and Singapore at the moment. And there's normally a token gesture of manufacturing in Europe. None of them are manufactured in the UK at the moment because we just don't have the steel facilities for that. So to support offshore wind, we're looking at pre-start survey, so mapping and laydown area. This photo, you can see a little bit of the laydown area here. So this marshalling yard had to take in 68 of these monopiles, which means creating soil berms for the SPMTs, the self-propelled transport things that go underneath and jack up the turbines. They need a flat level surface. So that involves lots of topographical work and mapping and all that kind of good stuff. Component inspection as well, which I'll show you in the case studies. So these big components come in, the various different elements involved in this, the shipping agents, the marshalling yard, the people that are actually moving them, they all want to make sure that these things are safe to handle. Installed turbine inspection, again for offshore, and also emergency response and an emergency call out as well. And with that being said, we try and serve and give out as much free content as possible. So if anybody wants to explore this sector, no matter where you're based in the UK, if you'd like some information, if you'd like a chat with me, there'll be a link to my LinkedIn profile at the end. Feel free to capture that with your phone or whatever. Reach out. I'm more than happy to have a chat with you. Hopefully there's a little bit of something in there that is useful for everybody. Feel free to reach out to me. Best way to do that is probably direct message through LinkedIn, or you can get my details off Eleanor. More than happy to advise and support where I can.